Hi, it's Denise with Ladybug Stampin', and today we're going to be recreating these pumpkins that I made using Stampin' Up! Product and a couple products that I found at the Dollar Tree. I love that place, I'm sorry. But I was going through and I seen some wood is what I seen. I seen some wood and I happen to have these on hand, so I thought, well, what can I just use these? And I will be using this putting these in my home decor for the fall. This one especially is made with the tin tile dynamic textured embossing folder. This one will go great in my kitchen, especially with the little color of the mint macaron. And then I've taken the ribbon, the baker's twine, and I just kind of frayed it at the top where I tied it off like that. So I thought that would be really cute in my kitchen. And then this one right here, we'll put my living room somewhere. We'll put it. And I really like this one too. So let's get started. Oh, wait. Before we get started, what are we using? We are using the Falling for Leaves bundle that's in the 2018 Stampin' Up! Holiday Catalog. So this is the stamp set. Isn't that gorgeous? I love that leaf. And these are the thin lit dies. And these are some awesome, awesome dies. Now you can cut out the leaf in detail, and then it has a frame. And then you've also got these other two pieces here, and then some edging right here on this. But today we're just mostly going to be focusing on these two pieces, or these three pieces right here. All right, now let's get started. So the first thing that you're going to need is you're going to need a 5x7 canvas from the Dollar Tree. They come in, I think they come 2 to a pack. And you're also going to need a, I don't know what, box cutter, I think these are. And this one's actually found at the Dollar Tree, and I got this for $1, and it's actually really good. And I use it for a lot of different things, like opening my big brown boxes from Stampin' Up! And today we're going to be using this to measure our measure down, because I'm going to have to cut out a piece of this to get our stem, because we're going to use this, we're going to keep this canvas as part of our stem. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to get out my ruler, and I'm going to measure down, I don't know, let's see, I didn't really measure that part. We'll just say I'm going to measure down, how big is this one here? We'll make this one maybe a little bit bigger, or, okay, so I went down about 2 inches. All right, so let's on this one, we'll go down about, let me get a pin. We'll go down about 1.5. Will that be okay? Yeah, I think, no, let's go down to 2, because I'm not sure about my paper that I'm using. Okay, so I'm just going to take my ruler and go this way, and it's not exact science. I'm just going to take my pen and run like that. Okay, and then for the stem, I know it's going to be in the middle somewhere. So I'm going to take my box cutter, and be very careful. If you're under the age of 18, make sure you have supervision by a parent, okay? And then I'm just going to take, and don't go out that far, Denise. And I'm just going to take and go up with my knife and kind of go up this way. So I'm going to make my stem. Now we will cut that part off. And I am just basically cutting it down. It won't cut all the way through, so don't worry, on my grid paper, okay? I say that and I feel like I just felt it. No, see, it still hasn't gone through. But this is going to give us a start. I'm going to have to use scissors to finish it. But if you've got a piece of extra wood, you could just continue to cut on there. This just kind of gave me a start. Now I'm going to use some Fisker scissors. These scissors are actually really good. I don't use my Stampin' Up! Scissors on something like this, but these Fisker scissors are great for a product like this on this type of material. And I'm just going to use it to kind of finish the cut. And then I'm just going to go back and use my box cutter to kind of finish that. That one does not want to come off, does he? We'll go on the back here. Don't like that backing. Okay. We're not going to see this, so don't worry if it's not pretty, because we're going to use paper. Okay, now that's got a big stem, so I'm just going to cut it down. I'm going to make this stem maybe just, no. I'm going to curve him a little bit on this one, like that. So the next thing I'm going to use is a piece of our 6x6 color cards designer series paper pack, I think is what it's called. And this is one, the crumb cake, so it's the neutrals, and it's 6x6, and this is perfect. And I think, let's see, we used the dots, the bigger dots on here. I want to use the smaller dots. These are more, it looks more like snow to me. And I'm going to turn it over, okay? And I'm actually going to take I'm going to take my adhesive, and yes, you can use snail, it holds, and I'm just going to run over the edge, all 4 edges, the sides, edges, sides, and then a couple in the 3 going down. So I'm going to leave it laying right there. And since this pattern has no, like, there's just dots, I don't have to be too careful. But if you have a pattern piece, you do want to watch that, okay? Take your canvas, flat canvas, lay it down, kind of make sure it's like in the middle, pretty even. Again, with the little dots, it doesn't matter on this one if you have a pattern. Rub it, turn it over, rub it down, make sure it's okay. Oops. And then we're going to take our paper snips and we're going to trim off some corners. We're just going to go straight up here and straight up here, okay? And then we're going to take this and we're just going to fold it over. And actually we're going to use our bone folder to make sure it's good and adhered. We'll do the same thing on this side here. And this one you might want to go out just a hair past the edge of the canvas. This will help it to, when we fold it over, to so that you can't really see the canvas part. And we may have to trim a little bit. Let's see. Nope. And I just fold it over like that, kind of bob, because this is going to be sitting on a shelf and nobody's going to see that. But if you are bothered by that, like sometimes I am, you can trim that. Okay, then we're going to go this side over here and do the same thing, a little bit at the edge, and this way the same way. And then off of where the stem is, we're going to leave that because we are going to cover it up with some linen thread, and you won't be able to see that. So we're going to just away from the pumpkin a little bit. We can come back and trim that if we need to. Fold that over. Now again, depending where you're going to have these, you could trim that off a little bit better. But mine are going to be up high. Okay. Or so they can't see that. And then this one here, we're just going to come right here and snip it on each side. And then we're going to use our fingers and just roll it around. There's that one little piece. I really don't want to use these to do that, but I need that off of there. Okay, so it just goes up a little bit, and that's okay. Because again, we're going to use linen thread for up there. Okay, so there's that part. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to get out my crumb cake, and I'm actually going to use a sponge and go over, like just like with this one, kind of give it some depth. And I'm going to try to do like the pumpkin lines, but really lightly, so it kind of gives it a little bit of depth. Okay, so I'm going to dab my sponge in there a little bit, and then I'm just going to pick it up and kind of go around the edges. That was a little bit. Got to blend that in a little bit. And I don't, okay, so now we're at the end. I'm not going to worry too much about right here where the stem part is, because it's not, we're not going to see that with the the elements that we're going to put on there. Okay, so now I'm just going to take my sponge, put it in there, and rub it off on my grid paper a little bit, because I don't want it to be too inky. And I'm just going to use it like this. I want some to be on. Okay, there, I can see it now. Remember, you can take off, but you can't, you can't take off, but you can add. So just creating a little, just like a little shadow. I can see it now. And then just one down the middle. Just a little bit, yeah. And then just a little bit to the rest of the side. Kind of take that white off a little bit. Okay, there we go, like that. I like that. Okay, next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get a sentiment out of here. Now my other one, I have Harvest of Thanks, and I really like that. But I think I want to just put thankful on this one. Okay, I'm just gonna put it on a G block. Put it in there. And actually, I am going to stamp this. I'm not gonna stamp this in crumb cake. I want to stamp it in soft suede. It's a little bit darker ink, and that way you'll be able to see it better. I don't want it to be tone on tone. Okay, and I'm just going to put this one, I think I'll put this one over on this side. Yeah, and maybe just at a catty corner a little bit, kind of like that, so that when I put these on my mantle, I'll have them kind of like that, and you can see this, you know, the thankful and then the sentiments will offset each other. I have some pieces of cardstock out here. We have Cajun Craze, crushed curry, and soft suede. I'm actually going to use the leaf stamp and some Cajun Craze, and we're going to stamp on the Cajun Craze. I'm just going to stamp where I can run it through the Big Shot. Like that. Yep, I don't want it to be too heavy, so that's perfect. And then I'm going to use soft suede with the 3-leaf punch, or stamp set, and just put it right here, like that. Okay, I'm going to trim these down so I don't need all that to run through the Big Shot. And then with the crushed curry, I'm just going to use this. Now, I'm not worried about the length of it because I'm going to have to cut this off anyways later. So I'm just going to run it like this through the Big Shot. Let's get the leaf frame out. That one, and then this one right here. Okay, I'm going to run these through the Big Shot, and I'll be right back. I have my 3 pieces run through the Big Shot, and we're going to be using those in just a minute. The next thing we're going to do actually is we're going to use some of our linen thread and wrap around the stem. And I'm going to start in the back. You can just use some snail, kind of put it back there. And we're going to start, make sure it's at the bottom, okay? Rub it on there, and we're just going to run this around. Start more towards the bottom. And you're going to have to, you can be real precise and have it go down. I'm not going to worry too much about the bottom because the paper. And then a tip, you could take your sponge and put a little color on here to take out some of that whiteness. That way if your ribbon or your linen thread has a gap, you won't be able to see that white. Okay, so let me just do that. I literally just thought about that. Okay, the other one I went really slow, so that's why I didn't think about it, I guess. So when you get towards the top, you're gonna have to add a little bit of adhesive, some glue, really, that's what you need. And I'm just gonna go around this a couple more times off my holder here. And I'm just gonna wrap it around because it needs to hold, it won't hold to the front. And you may have to play with it a little bit to get it to hold. Okay. And at the top, right up here at this little stem, I want to put a little glue too because I don't want to see that. Okay. Sorry, that was my chair, guys. And put a little bit more adhesive. And I made this one rounded, so this is giving me a little bit more issues. Okay, and then I've just got to go back around down here. Make this a little bit more tight down here. Because I noticed that this came up at the top because I was going fast. Okay. And you do not have to use as much linen thread as I did. Let's get our paper snips, and we're going to, I'm just going to trim down here at the bottom. And I'm going to use some adhesive. So I might just nail and just kind of run down a little bit. You can cover this back with some paper if you want. I'm just going to run that, use my finger and kind of go over that linen thread. There we go. Okay. So that's how the stem looks. Bless his heart. I need to move him a little bit. And it's a good thing we use that ink. So you can come back with some glue, or you can add some more. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start attaching our elements. And with this one, I'm actually going to take the sponge again with the crumb cake. And I'm going to just go around my elements here, my leaves. Just a little bit, just give it a little bit of, you know, character. They call it depth. I want to call it character today. And then the same thing with my little green pieces, my little soft suede. Okay, and then you can use your bone folder and kind of curl underneath your leaves, or you can curl them up like this. Actually, I want them up, not underneath. Give them, there you go. Okay, now let's start adhering these. So the first thing I'm going to adhere, first thing I'm going to do is close this ink pad. Is I'm going to adhere my, I just noticed it's getting cloudy outside, big one. And I'm just going to use some old-fashioned snail right here. And I'm going to tuck him under the stem, and I'm going to lift him up. I'm going to lift up the linen thread off the stem, and I'm just going to go, I'm going to tuck him underneath there. Okay, like that. And the same way with this one. I'm going to trim his tail off. And I'm not even going to put any adhesive on him because there's enough adhesive on this big leaf. Lift him up. Okay. I'm coming down a little bit like this. Okay, right there. And then on the same way with this one, we're going to add a little adhesive to the bottom of the leaf. I don't want to my little work I just did. Should have used my silicone mat for that. Okay, and then I'm going to lift him up again. And he's going to go just a little bit underneath, not a whole lot. Okay, and he's just going to lay right on top. Now, I need some with the little curly cues. What is it? The pieces of wood that are like curly cues. So, as I was trimming paper, I remembered that Angie over at Chicken Scratch, she always used to make her own, like, paper bag filler. I don't know what you call these, her little scrunchy things. So I just trimmed them. I just really rough chopped. And I'm just going to roll them in my hand. They're like, you take it to the edge of the paper. And I'm just going to use a little bit of glue right there. Rub these more. Okay. We'll trim them here in a minute. Yeah. Okay. Just trying to get the best ones. Okay. I'll go ahead and trim that one. And put it down here. Okay. Hold that with my finger. And then maybe this one, just a little bit thin. I didn't know how many I would need, so that's why I just did that. I'm trying to do this with my finger. Can't roll it up. Okay, there you go. Make it into a little ball, then roll it up. Okay, there we go. And then add a little bit more adhesive. You don't need a whole bunch, just a couple. Okay. And then we're going to put that right there next to it. Okay, we don't need those other ones. I think that's enough. And I'm just going to trim that at right there at the edge. And again, you could stick that up if you wanted. up underneath the linen. Come on. That way you can't see the edge of it. There we go. Look at that, how cute that is. Okay, so let's bring these back out. So now these two will be somewhere in my living room or somewhere. And this one will be in my kitchen because of the tin tile. All right, there we go. And we've got some pumpkins courtesy of Stampin' Up! And the Dollar Tree. All right, guys. Well, remember, all the measurements and everything will be on my link down below. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. And don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Talk to y'all later. Bye. Oh, toodles.